What if I told you that one of the greatest obstacles to your peace of mind isn't some huge external force, but something much closer to home, a person, a relationship that leaves you feeling constantly drained, anxious, or questioning your own worth? It's a subtle poison, isn't it? One conversation, one passive-aggressive comment at a time, until you feel like you're walking on eggshells in your own life. Your inner peace is stolen by the constant emotional turbulence of another. This is the heavy reality of a toxic relationship, and it can feel like a cycle that's impossible to break. But what if you could become unshakable? What if you could build a mental fortress that their negativity simply can't penetrate? The Roman Emperor, Marcus Aurelius, arguably the most powerful man in the world at the time, faced betrayal, incompetence, and difficult people on a daily basis. In his private journal, a book we now know as Meditations, he left behind a blueprint for profound emotional resilience. He didn't have the luxury of simply walking away from his duties. Instead, he forged a set of powerful internal tools to protect his mind and maintain his composure. In this video, we're going to dive deep into 6 of his most powerful methods to help you finally reclaim your peace. And here's the truth. This isn't just about cutting ties. It's about building an inner citadel so strong that no amount of external chaos can ever disturb your tranquility again. By the time we're finished, you'll understand why mastering your inner world is the key to breaking the cycle of toxicity for good. Section 1. Method 1. Practice emotional detachment. The first, and perhaps most foundational, method Marcus Aurelius teaches us is the practice of emotional detachment. Now, this isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's about creating a deliberate space between someone else's behavior and your own internal response. As Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This single idea is the cornerstone of Stoic resilience. Toxic people often thrive on getting a reaction from you, your anger, your frustration, your sadness. When you provide that reaction, you are handing them the controls to your emotional state. Emotional detachment is the act of taking those controls back. Think of it this way. You can't stop the rain from falling, but you can carry an umbrella so you don't get wet. The toxic person's behavior is the rain unpredictable and outside your control. Your emotional response is your choice of protection. You can either stand there and get soaked, or you can use the tools at your disposal to remain calm and centered. So, how do you apply this in practical terms? It begins with observation. When a toxic person does something provocative, your first instinct might be a flash of anger or a wave of hurt. The Stoic practice is to simply notice that feeling without judgment. Acknowledge it. There is anger arising. By observing the emotion as if you were a third-party scientist, you separate yourself from it. The feeling is there, but you are not the feeling. You are the presence observing it. This creates a crucial pause. In that pause, you have a choice. Instead of instinctively reacting, you can consciously choose to respond. Perhaps the best response is silence. Or maybe it's a calm, simple statement. The power lies in the fact that you are the one choosing, not being puppeted by your initial emotional flare-up. This practice also requires a deeper shift, turning inward to ask, as Marcus often did, if you have ever been guilty of similar faults. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about cultivating the humility to recognize our shared, flawed human nature, which helps depersonalize their attacks. Their behavior, as Marcus noted, often comes from an inability to tell good from evil, reflecting their own inner state, not your true worth. Section 2. Method 2. Set firm boundaries. while emotional detachment is your internal shield. Setting firm boundaries is its external counterpart. It is the practical application of protecting your inner peace. The Stoics were not passive doormats. They understood the necessity of protecting one's time and energy. The writings of Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, advise withdrawing into yourself when needed. And this applies to physically and verbally creating space as well. Boundaries are the rules of engagement you set for your own life. They are the clear lines that tell others what is and is not acceptable behavior in your presence. With a toxic individual, these boundaries are not just helpful, they are essential. Marcus teaches that our primary duty is to live a life of virtue and reason. Allowing someone to consistently disrupt your tranquility and pull you into a state of anger or anxiety is an obstruction to that duty. Therefore, setting a boundary is a deeply Stoic act of self-preservation. The first step is to clearly define your boundaries. What specific behaviors are you no longer willing to tolerate? The constant criticism? The late-night drama? Be specific. Write them down. The second, and often most difficult step, is to communicate them calmly and clearly. This is not a confrontation. It's a simple, firm statement of fact. For example, I will no longer participate in conversations where I am being criticized. If this starts, I will end the discussion. The third and most crucial step is to enforce the boundary without guilt. A toxic person will almost certainly test it. This is where your resolve is critical. When they cross the line, you must follow through with the stated consequence. Every time you enforce a boundary, you teach them how you expect to be treated, and more importantly, you reinforce your own self-respect. This connects to a deeper Stoic idea that we were born to work together. A toxic relationship is one where this natural cooperation is broken. By setting a boundary, you are not acting out of malice. You are attempting to restore a natural order, protecting your own ability to act with reason and virtue in the world. Section 3. Method 3. Embrace impermanence. A powerful source of our suffering in toxic relationships is our attachment to an idea of what the relationship should be. We cling to the hope of change or the memory of good times. Stoicism offers a potent antidote to this: the contemplation of impermanence. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of the transient nature of all things, writing that soon you will have forgotten everything, and soon everything will have forgotten you. This isn't meant to be a morbid thought. On the contrary, it is liberating. It frees you from the crushing weight of expectation. When you are trapped in a toxic dynamic, you are often chained to the past and anxious about the future. Embracing impermanence breaks those chains. It reminds you that this difficult period, like everything else, will pass. The Stoics called this practice memento mori. Remember you will die, not to be grim, but to infuse life with perspective. When you remember your time is finite, the drama of a toxic person shrinks in significance. Is this how you want to spend your precious, limited moments? Embracing impermanence also helps you let go of the need for the relationship to last forever. Many people stay in toxic situations because they fear the finality of an ending. But the Stoics teach that all things end. Accepting this universal truth can give you the courage to decide that a relationship that is actively harming you has run its course, rather than passively waiting for its inevitable conclusion. Instead of seeing the end as a failure, you can see it as a natural transition, an opportunity for growth. The pain is temporary, but the wisdom you gain can last a lifetime. Section 4. Method 4. Cultivate inner peace and composure. A toxic person's greatest weapon is their ability to disturb your inner peace. They create chaos and thrive on drama. The Stoic response is not to fight fire with fire, but to become so internally calm and composed that their flames have nothing to burn. It's about building that unshakable inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius firmly believed our internal state was our own responsibility, writing, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is a radical declaration of self-sovereignty. It means that no matter what someone else does, the ultimate quality of your life is determined by how you manage your own mind. Cultivating this inner peace is an active, daily practice. It begins with mindfulness. Throughout your day, take moments to pause and check in with your internal state. Are your thoughts racing? Is your jaw clenched? Simply noticing is the first step. One of the most powerful tools for this is the strategic use of silence. When faced with a provocation, our instinct is to argue or defend ourselves. Silence, however, is disarming. It is not a passive act of submission, but an active choice to preserve your energy and dignity. If a response is necessary, it should be deliberate and free of anger. Marcus taught that acting on anger is a sign of weakness. Instead of letting their toxic behavior dictate your tone, you respond from your own center of peace. This doesn't add fuel to the fire. It calmly extinguishes it. The deeper work here is to internalize that virtue is the highest good. By choosing to cultivate inner peace, you are prioritizing your own character above the empty satisfaction of winning an argument. You are choosing to focus on your own growth, which is the only thing that is truly yours. Section 5. Method 5. Master your emotions. This next method flows directly from cultivating inner peace, and it is perhaps one of the most revolutionary ideas in Stoicism. It's the active process of mastering your emotions by interrogating the judgments that create them, a practice that shares a direct parallel with the core principles of modern cognitive behavioral therapy. Marcus Aurelius gave us the key to this practice when he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This is a profound insight. A toxic person's insult is just words. The thing that causes the pain is your internal judgment that those words are true and have the power to diminish you. Mastering your emotions means becoming an expert at identifying and dismantling these harmful judgments. Let's break this down. First, identify the triggering event and the resulting emotion. For example, my friend made a sarcastic comment about my new project, event, and I feel a surge of shame, emotion. Second, identify the automatic judgment that connects the event to the emotion. This is the crucial step. The judgment might be, their comment means my project is foolish and that I am a failure. It is this internal narrative, not the comment itself, that is the true source of your pain. Third, challenge that judgment with reason. Is it objectively true that their comment means your project is a failure? Or is it just their opinion, likely colored by their own negativity? A rational reframing might sound like this. Their comment is a reflection of their own perspective, not an objective fact. I will not grant them the power to define my self-worth. This isn't about pretending you're not hurt. It's about understanding the root cause of the hurt and using your rational mind to heal it. Over time, you learn to catch these negative judgments as they arise and replace them with more rational, empowering ones. You effectively immunize yourself from the emotional poison of others, not by hardening your heart, but by strengthening your mind. Section 6. Method 6. Let go of the need for closure. One of the most painful traps of a toxic relationship is the desperate need for closure. We want an apology, an explanation, a final conversation where everything is resolved. We believe that without this, we cannot move on. The Stoics would argue this belief is a prison of our own making. Marcus Aurelius gave us a powerful mantra for this. What stands in the way becomes the way. When applied to toxic relationships, this means the very lack of closure you are fighting against is, itself, the path forward. Waiting for someone else to give you permission to heal is the obstacle. Realizing you can grant that permission to yourself is the way. Letting go of the need for closure means accepting a difficult truth. You may never get the apology you feel you deserve. To continue demanding it from them is to keep yourself chained to the source of your pain. The Stoic approach is to find closure within. It is an internal act, not an external negotiation. First, you must take responsibility for your own healing. Your recovery is your duty. As Marcus wrote, get active in your own rescue. If you care for yourself at all, and do it while you can, your healing cannot be outsourced to the person who broke you. Second, practice forgiveness, but understand what it truly is. Stoic forgiveness is not for their benefit, it is for yours. It is the act of canceling a debt you have been holding. As long as you harbor resentment, you are the one carrying the heavy burden. Forgiveness is putting that burden down so you can walk away free. Finally, you must transform the pain into wisdom. A difficult relationship, once you are free from it, is a powerful teacher. It teaches you about your boundaries, your values, and your resilience. Instead of focusing on what was lost, focus on what was learned. By letting go of the need for external validation, you reclaim your power. You decide when the story is over. The obstacle truly does become the way. Conclusion. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius is not a passive philosophy. It is an active toolkit for living a resilient life. These 6 methods, practicing emotional detachment, setting firm boundaries, embracing impermanence, cultivating inner peace, mastering your emotions, and letting go of the need for closure are the pillars for building an unshakable inner citadel. Toxic relationships thrive by hijacking your emotions and keeping you chained to a cycle of pain. But as the Stoics teach, you always have a choice. You cannot control what others do, but you can, and always will, control how you respond. You can choose reason over reaction. You can choose to protect your own tranquility over their chaos. Ending this cycle is a daily practice of reinforcing your internal fortress and of remembering that the ultimate power over your mind and your happiness belongs to you and you alone. This journey of building resilience is a practice, not a destination. Which of these 6 Stoic methods resonated with you the most, and how do you plan to apply it in your life? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might be the insight someone else needs to hear. And if you found this ancient wisdom valuable for modern problems, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into building a stronger, more tranquil mind.